Hello, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup. Hold on one second. Daily Roundup. I'm just putting in the link, or just so you guys know, when you're using ForexAnalytix, you notice this button up here, right here, where it says join at the very top. You can click on that when it's lit up. You know, when it says webinar on air, you can click that little join button right at the top, and that'll link you directly to this webinar or the face webinar, whatever webinar that we're broadcasting, the European crossover. So that's an easy way to get linked up to whatever webinar is broadcasting at that moment in time, just to let you guys know. Okay, so let's talk about these moves. I mean, first of all, we were having a discussion in the chat room about the Aussie dollar. It is so strong, right? I have nothing else to say about the Aussie other than it's strong. It's moving with commodity prices. If you look at here, I guess this is iron ore. This is a 3-day chart of iron ore, or you can look at 1 month of iron ore. It's just ripping, right? And you can see the Aussie looks very similar. It's just following it. Between that, you got crude. By the way, the crude just hit the 161% extension. If you guys didn't see that, there was an update on ForexAnalytix on basic technical analysis there, and that might have put in at least a temporary bottom for the dollar Canadian today. There's crude, there's copper. Take a look at copper. Copper is just on fire. I mean, I guess the question is, where does copper go? The 127% extension is coming up. That's of the last 2 year sell-off in copper. That's gonna come in at 368, which isn't, it's 10 cents away, but it's not too far away. But just look at the daily chart in copper, and you wonder why the Aussie continues to rally the way it does. That's it. So until we start to see some tops being formed in these commodity prices, it's hard for me to imagine. Oh wait, hold on. UK, the Brexit, the UK will make a unilateral declaration promising to remain fully aligned to the EU food and safety animal health rules for the production of agri-food products destined for Northern Ireland after January 1st. Okay. That didn't move the needle at all for Brexit. And we'll talk about Brexit here in a second, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is regarding the Aussie or even the Kiwi. Now the Kiwi is underperforming. You can see the Kiwi hasn't hit new highs. That doesn't mean it's not going to hit new highs though. It's still still moving higher. Jane says that was important before UK denied following EU regulations for food. Oh, thank you. All right, Jane. Thanks. That makes sense. No, the cable still isn't really responding to that. It's actually moving lower. Let's talk a little bit about Brexit. Sorry about Brexit. I am a little concerned about a possible no deal at this point. I mean, if you look at price action of the cable, it doesn't look healthy, and it's for me, it's hard for me to put my finger on it and say, oh well, it's it's bullish or bearish or whatever. It's just or a deal is going to get done or a deal isn't going to get done. All I can do is really look at the price action, and the price action is not instilling confidence if you're bullish. The UK officials walking away saying that, a deal seems less likely after the dinner last night. That has weighed on the market. And I don't, again, I don't know if I have, enough stomach strength to get long the cable down at these levels. I tried playing the euro sterling short, but I just got stopped out at break even. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, look at it. I mean, there would be an epic fail of the pound if it broke down. I mean, that would be an epic failure because it's really rejected, this key 135 level. And, I think we just have to keep pointing that out, that it is, not acting well. Above 135, everything changes. And I think, you get a huge squeeze out of the market. Hey, if I didn't say it earlier, I'm sorry, I was kind of tied up with charts during the FACE webinar, so I didn't get to mention it. Happy Hanukkah for those of you that celebrate the Hanukkah holiday. So happy Hanukkah to you guys and gals. I meant to say it earlier, and I totally spaced it before, as I was trying to wrap up the charts. So the euro, big move in the euro today, but we tried to move out of this bull flag pattern and we've failed. Now that doesn't mean the euro's bearish. I was just reading a piece from Citigroup, and they're very bullish the euro. They think you should be buying the euro here. And, I mean, if you look at the dollar all the way around, that kind of makes sense, just to be long euros or short dollars. But we are seeing some counter trend moves, or what potentially could be a counter trend move. I am trying to play some dollar Canadian off of these lows. Divergent relative strength, oversold on the daily charts. But I don't want to stick around too long because this is obviously pretty bearish. I want to see a bounce back above like 127.50, 127.60 in order for me to feel good about that. I'm trying to play the dollar Mexican peso on the long side too. And we've come out of this descending wedge, which is great. But we're not getting above 20. We're failing to stay above 20. But at the same time, I have to mention that it's holding up really well in the face of, equity markets bouncing back. Now I know the Dow or the Dow is down, and the S&P is basically flat, Nasdaq's up, but they've bounced back quite aggressively, and the dollar Mexican peso really hasn't pulled back all that much. So that makes me feel good about being long the dollar Canadian or dollar Mexican peso. But I would like to see it close above 20. I'd like to see stocks, roll over. That would make me feel a lot better about the opportunities of being long dollar Mexican peso now. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about today? Amira said, "Thanks for the happy Hanukkah from Jerusalem." You're welcome, Amira. Yeah, it's since I obviously I'm of the Christian faith. Well, I don't know if I should say obviously. Sometimes dates escape me, and then this morning I'm like, oh, it's Hanukkah today, and I totally forgot. But I tend to forget my birthday until it's like right on. It's like my birthday, and my wife's like, "Happy birthday," and I'm like, "Oh, it is my birthday today." Totally forgot about that. That happens to me all the time. Pedro says, "Where does the Aussie US dollar end?" And again, I'm going to say I don't know. I mean, okay, so we were just having this discussion with Leandro in the chat rooms about where he sees the 618 retreat or 161% extension, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's looking at, and Leandro's our Spanish speaking webinar host. He might be looking at this, which comes in, closer to where we're at, right, of this move. But frankly, I have to use the very top. So I don't see a 161% extension until, out here, that it comes in at 76, 75. But if you really want to, talk turkey about all this, okay, the big 38% retracement of this entire move lower comes in right around 76.31. So, you know, we could see 100 pips higher or so before, you know, we see a bit of a pullback. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Is we could reach above 76 cents before we see any type of pullback in the Aussie. But the where it really stops, or where what would stop it in its tracks, would be equity markets. And let's not forget that we did have a bearish outside day yesterday in the S&P. Now, you know, I think if we close, you know, closer to the lows, or maybe, you know, 15 or 20 S&P points from where we're at right now, that is going to weigh on risk. And you should see stocks come down a little bit, and excuse me, you should see the Aussie and the Kiwi come down. But it would probably be very temporary. You would see this happen, right? Just you know, limited dips before we rally back. I think that would be more of the case regarding the Aussie, you know, the Aussie dollar. Okay. Pedro said, okay, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. There was one other thing I was going to mention here. We looked at crude. Gosh, there was something else it was on the tip of my tongue, and then I read your comments, and I thought about that for a second. You know, I'm really hopeful that the Aussie stops. I mean, one of the things that will help the dollar Canadian bounce, or the dollar Mexican peso bounce, will be a stoppage of the Aussie and the Kiwi moving higher. And, you know, that's, so I'm hoping that we see them peak out sooner rather than later, or we see equities actually start to show some signs of weakness. But as of right now, it's tough. You know, it's tough because they're definitely moving with the whole entire commodities complex. Gold is a little weaker right now, so keep an eye on that. Maybe that might give the dollar a bit of a boost, but we'll see. All right, guys. I hope you all have a great remainder of the day or evening, or in Amira's case, Hanukkah, until tomorrow morning. And then for the rest of you all, have a great trading session. And thank you so much for your support. As you guys know, we're always appreciative of you, specifically, you know, our clients. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon.